This nicely leads me on to the next point about the different types of recruiting relationships you can have. You can be transactional or you can be relationship focused. And in a corporate environment, you might just purely be targeted and focused on filling the role, the immediate roles, getting as much cash in the bank. And this kind of plays off in recruitment. And sometimes clients might have like a negative turn towards recruiters because of exactly this, is that you're only interested in the fee. But in practice, every interaction is an investment into a long-term relationship and your reputation. And for this, I can give you two examples. There was one time when a candidate called me to say that they wanted a very specific opportunity. And the reason that they gave for them being motivated to move was because that they were getting bored with the projects that they were working on. So I'm just trying to give an example here. Imagine you're working in construction and there's loads of different types of buildings that you can work on. You can work on apartment blocks, you can work on hospitals, you can work on data centers. And if the company that you're working for only works on apartment blocks, then as an engineer in construction, you will get a little bit frustrated. You're going to get bored because you're working on the same kind of project over and over again, and the mental challenge just doesn't exist. And when this candidate contacted me, they said that they wanted to work for a client. So this meant that they wanted to work for a developer that specializes in building residential developments. And I challenged the candidate and I said, hey, look, you just said to me that you're bored because you're working on the same project over and over again. And now you want to go and work for a company that only works on one type of project because they probably pay you a little bit more. Can you explain to me why that's a good move? Because I could have just accepted what the candidate said. And you know what? I'll go and help you get the job. The only thing that would have happened is 6 months later, the client would have been unhappy and the candidate would have resigned because they're bored. Like they're literally looking to leave for the same motive. So now taking the time out to actually understand the candidate's motives, and the same rule goes for clients, makes a huge difference because now that candidate is a candidate for us for life. The candidate has learned to trust and respect me and my team because we're not just going to go ahead with whatever they say. So now we've avoided potentially risking a client relationship and we've gained the trust of a candidate at the same time in our niche, and it consolidates our presence. And the second part of it is that I remember having a candidate who was a director level candidate who lived further up north compared to London, which is our focus point, and he wanted to explore opportunities in London and relocate here. So we arranged him several interviews and I went with him. I literally went with him to the interviews. I took him out for lunch. We had a coffee together. I literally walked by him all the way to the interviews. We spoke about all sorts along the way. And that candidate eventually secured a job with one of our clients. And guess what? He became a hiring manager and he's still one of our clients today. This happened 4 years ago and they're still working with us and making placements through our agency today. And that's the difference between what is relationship focused and transactional. I could have just arranged the interviews and left him to it. I could have set up interviews for the other guy who was looking to go into a job that he was inevitably going to get bored in, but I didn't. I challenged it. And that meant that I got so much more trust and buy-in from both parties, and this pays off in the long term. So I suppose the key thing here is how long term are you thinking?